Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raity's Rides. And if you like classic cars, I don't think anything screams more classic Americana than a 57 Chevy. Now, if you don't know much about the Chevy Bel Air, the Chevy Bel Air, for a long time, it was mundane. It didn't have a lot of power, didn't have all this craziness, the styling. But when you get to the mid 1950s, there was a guy by the name of Zora Duntov. Now, you maybe have never heard of Zora Duntov. Zora Duntov is actually the father of the Corvette, or at least considered the father of the Corvette. He's the guy who finally got them to put a V8 in a Corvette, but also get that small block Chevy in the Bel Air. Speaking of that small block Chevy, let's go ahead and check out underneath the hood. One thing that I love about Chevy Bel Airs is I just love the way when the hood opens, you have this wonderful access to the front radiator. You can see that traditional Chevrolet small block under there. Now, if you're wondering why is the car or why is the engine orange? Did the owner do that? Is that custom? No. The reason why it happens to match the color of the outside of the car is because that was a Chevrolet thing. When you pop the hood at a car show or at your local drag race event and you saw orange, you knew that that was a Chevy V8 engine because of the color. Ford had blue. Everybody had their own specific color to their engine. Another thing that's interesting is that even though this is a General Motors product, back then they did not swap around engines. If you were driving an Oldsmobile, that had an Oldsmobile V8 in it. They didn't borrow it from a Chevrolet and vice versa, or a Pontiac. Everything was brand specific back then. They didn't do any global sharing of engines. Here it's at. This is what the 1950s is all about. The 1950s is that whole jet age, that whole space age. They really brought the styling to these cars. And you could see with these bumperettes, everything was meant to look like that whole space age type of jet look to it. I really, really love the way the bumperettes match in with the full chrome bumper. Very, very tasteful. I love the gold grill on these cars. Very, very excellent how were able to bring that in and make it work with the chrome. Also, another touch, and this is something that I've been talking about in a lot of my videos, is that branding. Beautiful Chevrolet bow tie with the nice colors. This is when it seems that every part of the car had that extra styling. It wasn't just about slapping something on and getting it out the door. This is when the United States, from a manufacturing standpoint, car manufacturing, we were making the best cars in the world, the most stylish cars in the world. This is what we're talking about. Let's check out the side of this car. The front fender, just the way that the headlight, they could have just went flat, kept it flat with the headlight. No, they brought that styling in. If you look down the side with the chrome trim, beautiful white wall tires. If you've never seen a white wall tire before, this was a styling cue that actually first started when cars had white tires. There was once a time where you could actually get a full white tire on a car, believe it or not. That transitioned into the white wall to give it that look. And depending on the era, you could tell if you know your stuff, what age the car is about because the thickness of the white wall changes as time goes by, as people's interests and styling cues have gone by. Look at this beautiful hubcap. Now, a lot of cars back then did not have what we like to call wheels. It was a steel wheel, and you would put a nice, beautiful looking cover over it. And that's what this is. Very, very nice, tastefully done. I love what they were doing on these cars in the 1950s. Let's check out the interior. If you have not seen a 1950s sedan style car, look at all that room. This is a two-door car. This is not a four-door car, two-door car. Check out all the styling. I'm going to go ahead and come around the side so I could show you some of the features. I really like how back then they took the outside and brought it inside. You have that beautiful metal dash. These are dashes that metal painted with the bodywork outside. They're not like the rubber of the plastic today. I'm in love with what they were doing with the gauge pod cluster. Remember how I told you about that whole space age, jet age type of thing? They brought that into the whole gauge cluster here. Look at this steering wheel. Very, very beautiful, tasteful look with the tree shifter stock here. And you can see that beautiful chrome ring here. Very, very nicely done. This is actually the horn. So if you're wondering, well, what do I press for the horn? You could just press that. It's wonderful. Look at the way that the owner has this car. You could tell that this is something that brings him a lot of joy, a lot of love. And I'm telling you, I had to wait about 20, 30 minutes to bring this video to you because people were surrounding this car. I want Tom to show you a couple other things. Check out the Chevrolet tissue box down there, all the way down underneath the radio. These are things that you don't see anymore. Have you ever ordered a car of recent past where you're getting a tissue box holder? I don't think so. These are things that have gone away over time. Lots of room there in the back seat. If you're a full grown adult, you don't have to worry about being cramped. You got plenty of room. You got your two, you got your buddy, you got you behind the wheel, and you can have your girls in the back seat and tons of room. Here is Chevrolet Bel Air right here. This tells you it's a 57. Now, the 50s are known for fins. This is the 57 Chevy fin, and you can see it's a great size. If it was a 55, this would not be so prominent like this. It's a very nice flow. I really love the side skirts down here that are covering that rear wheel. These are things that, like I said, if you see this car or a car like this, you know that it's 1950s. You don't see this type of stuff in the 70s or the 80s. Just the time and attention. It's almost like if you just didn't spend the time to really look at all the pieces of the car, you could not appreciate it. But all this finish, 1950s, just mind blowing. I love the Bel Air logo back here. It ties in the gold with the front, which is nice. And it's all about that beautiful styling. Check out the rear. You can see this has a Continental kit, so you actually have a spare tire in here. This was something that was an option, not a very big option. You don't see a lot of these having that Continental kit. Has that gold finish from the front, from the sides. Very, very nicely done. I'm really, really in love with this 57 Chevy Bel Air. And if you like seeing classics like this, leave a comment in that comment section. You can visit my website, raitiesrise.com. You can message me directly through there. If there's anything in particular you want to see, let me know. I'll bring it to you. And like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.